Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I am so excited about today's show. But before we get started, I'm Toni Simmons Henson. I'm the founding executive director of the Atlanta Black Theater Festival, the producers of this podcast, Let's Talk Theater Live. Now, the person I'm going to introduce to you today is none other than someone who I hold dear to my heart. I'm going to read his bio, but it's so much more than this. This person is resilient. This human being is just a phenomenal businessman. He's a lover of the art. But let's read his bio because I'll get emotional. Oh my gosh. Shelton Land, Dr. Shelton Land, is the executive director of the historic Douglas Theater in Macon, Georgia. Born, reared, and a native of Virginia. He earned a Bachelor of Science in Mass Communication from Norfolk State University, HBCU, yes! A Master of Social Work from Virginia Commonwealth University, and a PhD in Public Policy and Administration from Walden University. With more than 18 years of leadership experience in nonprofit and in the performing arts fields, Dr. Land previously served as the Vice President of Education with the United Way of Central Georgia and is an alumnus of Leadership Macon. He also served as the artistic director of the Atlanta Black Theater Festival and is an SETC Leadership Initiative alumnus. Dr. Land states that the performing arts, especially theater, is what fuels him, but education and learning is what drives him. He believes in, I love this part, family first always, and says that family is like a tasty chocolate sundae, mostly sweet with a few nuts. Let's bring to the stage none other than my friend, my brother, Dr. Shelton Land. You always got to throw a funny in there.
How are you this morning?
That's what I love about you, though. Shelton, we have known each other since what, when did we meet? 2014?
Yeah, 2013, 14. Yep. I've lost count.
And I have personally, and we're going to talk about leadership and moving organizations forward, but I have personally witnessed an inspirational story in the folding. And I told you got to write a book. But unfolding, but that's how God works. God takes what we have and he builds, as long as your arms are open, he builds whatever it is that you bring to the table. And that's what I've witnessed in you. I've witnessed God take what you brought to the table with open arms, always willing to serve, always willing to encourage, always willing to lift other people's up, always willing to contribute, not just in terms of your time and your talent, but also in terms of your dollars. And I have seen you never want for anything, always blessed, always blessing around the corner. Am I right about it? Am I giving the real bio for Shelton Land? Am I?
Well, I mean, when people say that, it kind of makes me feel, I don't know, because I feel like that's what we're designed to do. That's the purpose. That's how I was raised. You give and you let your work speak for itself. You have to be a giver of the people, right? That's what we're supposed to do. Aren't we supposed to give? Like, you have takers and you have givers. So I understand that in the world. All of us take a little, all of us give a little, but I think it's just a balancing piece. And you're right. I put it all in God's hand. I just don't worry about it. I was like, hey, you know what? Everything to me is a lesson learned. And I work from a strength-based perspective. I look at for what assets do I have. I don't focus on my gaps or my weaknesses. I focus on my strengths because they're infinite, and my weaknesses can only take me but so far. But my strengths can take me wherever, and I like to be a value add. And I tell people that when I come to you and I approach you, I want to be a value add. If you feel like I ever subtract from you or subtract or I'm taking away, that means I'm no longer a value. So that's my whole piece. I'm a value add, and I walk and live that. Yeah.
But and that's the another thing about you. You're so humble, but because I really don't know if you know how phenomenal you are, but that's okay. You can continue doing what works because this is working for you. Your humility is working for you. Don't let me add some human flesh to God's formula.
Oh, Toni, this is so good. You have me.
Leadership is. I want to talk about leadership. I didn't want to interrupt you. Did you have something you wanted to add?
No, go ahead. No.
I want to talk about leadership because I don't think really people understand how important good leadership is. And I think people just want position, they want title, they want, but they don't want to do what it takes to lead. And leading an institution is it's nothing to take lightly, because your morals, what comes into leadership is your morals and your values and your character, because that's what trickled down and permeates the culture of an organization. Honesty, integrity, and ethic, a work ethic that shows up and understands and cares. Tell me about your leadership journey and how you see yourself as a leader, and then you can talk about some of your leadership training and what you've learned.
Okay, all right. I guess when we think about a journey, and I call it my leadership field trip. My field trip to leadership, it started with my family. I'm the oldest, right? So being the eldest of 5, I don't say this loud, I don't say this to my mom, but sometimes we have to think when we have working parents. I was parentified at an early age. And so when you're parentified at an early age, you learn traits and skills. Like I had younger brothers and sisters, that I would often look after, whether we're outside. I know that I was responsible for them because we're 5 years apart, right? So I have a brother that was 5 years younger than me. I had a sister that was 10 years younger than me. And then come along, we'll talk about the other ones later on, but then they come along. But when you think about like, oh, I have to look out for them, I have to fight for them, fend for them. But then that helped me with my negotiation skills. Because my brother, like, he would always get into something, and I'm like, now I'm not gonna be fighting all these people all the time out here outside. I'm fun size now, but back then I was bite size. I'm like, I don't have time to keep doing what we doing. So I learned to negotiate. And then also seeing my mom, like, she showed me her leadership, like how she managed a family. She would always show up for us, but she's still working 2 and 3 jobs. So more is caught than taught. So I want to say that. So more is caught than taught. And so when you are looking and people are demonstrating around you, it was my village. So I seen them. They were leaders in the spaces that they operated in. And then I think for me, my leadership kicked in kind of late for me. And that's what people don't realize. So I was a non-traditional college student. I didn't go to college till I was like 28, 29, right? I was just non-traditional, late bloomer. The skills I think had always been there, but they scared me. So I will tell people that I was fearful of being a leader, but something inside of me always wanted me to push me out to the front because I didn't like being in. I was like, that's crazy. Why are we doing it? But so I guess going through Norfolk State, going through those things, picking up leadership skills, leading class conversations, leading group, things like that. And then I just got into the nonprofit world. And Toni, you know this, when you're a serial entrepreneur, you're going to do what it takes. So I wasn't afraid. I couldn't be afraid to knock on doors, to express things. But as I began to keep moving up the ladder, or, in my professional career, I learned things. And a lot of that came from professional development. And I tell anybody this, don't think you're ever too old for a mentor or a coach. And so I surrounded myself with a lot of good coaches and mentors, you being one of them, Sylvia McGee being another, and they're all women. So me and the males, I love my Black brothers and all of that, but sometimes men want to, and I'm like, I'm not like that. Whoa, now you ready to create a conflict here. So I surround myself with strong women. And people say, why? Because that balances me out. Like, I think that I've learned a lot on how to be the man that I want to be, right? Mm-hmm. So I need something to balance that. So I need it from a feminine perspective, or a woman's perspective, a different perspective than a male perspective. I think I got that. I need to see how a women lead, and they have taught me like compassion. All right. So all of these things trickle in. But again, the leadership journey for me has really just been learning. I just didn't get this way, and it started really, really early. I promise you it started early. And when people ask me that, I always got to go back just to my mom, to my great aunt who raised me, to my uncle, I call him my pop, to my G-pop, that's my stepdad. All of these people showed me leadership. I seen quiet power. I seen loud power. And I seen power in people, how they learned to navigate that couldn't drive, couldn't get where, but they always everywhere. They couldn't drive but get all the information from sitting in. I just learned different things. And I've taken those things, that's my value system. And I applied it to when I was put into leadership positions myself. And, there is no formula. People try to come up with all these formulas. Are you transactional? Are you transformational? Are you situational? Leadership involves all those things. And some things we try to name it so we can claim it. Some things you just can't name. Some things are just natural. Some people are good managers. Some people are good leaders. The difference, people love leaders. Managers know how to manage people. So sometimes you get a person that comes with both of those type of skills. Yeah. So for me, is that not true? Like, seriously.
And no, that is true. And I think that a good leader understands his or her team, and they understand that there's skills that the team can deliver, because everybody has different talents. And I think that a good leader understands, this is kind of like a manager and a leader. Good leader understands their team and their team's capacity. And a good leader can shape the organization to fit and optimize. It's like if the different parts of the organization, you have to assess what your skills are and which skill sets are within that organization, and you put it together like a puzzle to create the vision that you want. And one of the things I think is important about leadership, I could talk about leadership all day, is you can't be afraid to remove a piece from the puzzle if it doesn't fit.
Oh, now let me do that. That is where we have to, and I think that we get so caught up on the human side of it. Like, and I tell people, I was appointed the executive director to be a good steward of this ship called the Douglas Theater that I'm driving. Yeah, and so with that, but with that, it's like, it's a scale you have to balance. You know what I mean? And sometimes you have to have courageous conversations. You have to be courageous. And then to being in leadership, what I've learned and seen is that everybody's not going to agree with the decisions that you make. They're not going to agree with you. And you're right. So it's really about knowing your team. But that comes from knowing there's something called Johari's window, right? So we all have blind spots, and some of us are unconsciously unskilled, and some of us are unconsciously skilled. And some of us, those unconsciously unskilled people think that I'm got it going on. No, baby, no, you don't. So, but as a leader, you also have to know your blind spots, and you feel it in with people around you that say, you know what, here's a blind spot that I have. I think I'm skilled in this area, but I'm a generalist. I'm not a specialist. So I need to bring in someone who's truly skilled in this area. And And so it all flows, and like I said,
Yes.
there's so many elements to leadership. And when people always ask me that, I teach leadership, I have done classes on it, but I don't want to get into all like the dissertation parts of it. It is, and I tell people my caveat to that, and to tell people to take away, look deep inside yourself first. You have to have a courageous conversation with yourself. And some of us, we want the positional power, right? We do. That's what people aim for. They're ambitious. They want the positional power. But if any position as a leader takes me out of my value system, I don't want it. Value systems mean more to me than positional power, this capitalistic money making system, all of that. I am more of a value type person, and and that's what drives my leadership, is my value and my heart. And humble. And I tell people, doctor is not on my birth certificate. When I die, ain't nothing on it. Says Shelton Land. That's what it says on my birth certificate. So
Right.
it's like,
You
I'm
got that
serious.
right.
That's what it says.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so
Yeah.
I just, and that's a hard question for me, really. People say, hey, leadership, I just lead. I just let God do the work. And I'm just a vessel. I pray every morning. I do my meditation and say, God, guide me. Every day before I come to work, I listen to 2-3 gospel songs. I just need inspiration. And I just need just to hear. And I move from there. I really do.
I so appreciate that. And I do want to give homage to your mom before we start talking about the Douglas Theater, your new role, the new chapter in your phenomenal life book. But your mother is such a special person. And I don't think they make them like that anymore, to be honest with you. I have admired her. And she might not even know this, but I have admired her. I admire how much respect she garners from her children. And that is hard nowadays, because these young folks, they don't respect older people. But your mom, from her grandchildren to her children, she garners such respect, and she carries herself so regally, but at the same time, she's so down to earth and lovable.
Yeah.
So I just want to pay homage to Miss Renee Rhodes. Take a moment to share how much I love her and I admire her, and she is just a phenomenal woman. I just want to. I want her to know that.
And
I know
is,
she
and
listening,
thank you
because
for
she
that.
always supporting you.
Yeah, she's probably on, but but I tell people that's who I learned it all from. My mom was a very transparent person. She gonna speak her mind, but she does it out of love, right? So we have to know what's a person's love language and how do they speak to you. Because children coming up, sometimes we think our parents are the worst, like wow.
Yeah.
So me and my mom, we had to grow into this. Now let me tell you, man, she like my best friend, but it wasn't always like that. I guess we pushing up against each other. So but over the years, I guess since I've been 24, when you know that regardless of who you are and what you're doing, and you look up and your mom is there, even when you hit rock bottom, you may think you hit rock bottom. But as long as you got a good mama, you never at rock bottom. And so I was in that mental space in my life. Like, I'm serious. I was trying to get my master's. I couldn't even pay my rent. And my mom was like, what you crying for? Go check your bank account. What you, and it's like worrying about the wrong thing. You need to be concentrating on this. So it's just, and thank you for that. I do. And I tell people, my mom is my heart. Like, she my ride or die. And everybody know I go hard for her.
And your twin too. Y'all look just alike. But let's move forward. Because I want to get a chance to talk about the Douglas Theater. And speaking of leadership, our illustrious president of the Atlanta Black Theater Festival board just came in the room. So I'm gonna show a clip, and then I'm gonna bring Winston Wilson to the stage and to participate in this interview. So I'm just gonna show this clip really fast. Share screen. And this is going to tell us a little bit about the Douglas and set us up.
I think I see Winston.
All right.
Hello.
That didn't go as smooth as I had hoped, but we got here. Winston, how are you this morning?
I am so thankful to be with two of my favorite people. You really are. Shelton, when you're talking about leadership, I was saying to myself, I was just lost in what you were sharing, and the way you were talking about the journey of leadership, because that's what it is. It's a journey of life. So I was just floored by what you were sharing. And I'm not surprised because I've heard you say this many times. So I'm so thankful to be here with both of you, Shelton, and obviously Toni. Leadership is something that's just part of our lives forever. You know, I had a professor one year that told me this maybe 20 some odd years ago.
I'm having a hard time hearing you. Can you hear Shelton? Is it me?
Yeah, I hear him. It's like a little muffled a little bit.
Yeah, can you turn up your volume just a tad bit? With your very white voice.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a little better. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
Much better. Yes.
I was just sharing that I was thankful about what I heard this morning. You know, Shelton is always impressive in what he talks about. Leading and running the theater, and I know that's what we're segueing to, is very challenging. But Shelton, you have taught me so many things. And so I'm so thankful for everything that you've done. Being a leader is a hard thing, you know, and then at the end, you were just talking about the roles of leadership, and an author that I love, John Maxwell, talks about the levels of leadership. And then sometimes you get a title and you think you're a leader. That don't mean you're a leader. It don't mean nothing. But it's really about what you do for other people. And so it's been really, really amazing to see how the partnership that you two have had has been way before I and many others were been around, but how that's blossomed into really creating this kind of highway of theater here in the ATL.
I love that. Highway of theater in the ATL. That's a t-shirt.
It is. That's definitely a t-shirt slogan.
Now, what is he talking about? Tell us, Shelton, about the Douglas.
You know, and you just showed the clip, and you know, a lot of people don't know about, you know, the Douglas Theater, this historic theater that was started in 1921, right? It's a venue of power, pride, performance, and purpose. You know, it was started by a Black man during the hardest time of racial segregation. When you think about 1921 and Black people, he was Macon's first Black millionaire. A lot of people are familiar with the Apollo, right? But nobody, I ain't gonna say they're not familiar with the Douglas. I think that they somewhat starting to forget about the Douglas. But we're basically the Showtime of the South. That's basically what we are. We're just like the Apollo. This was the space where Otis Redding, James Brown, Little Richard, Ma Rainey, Bessie Smith, Lena Horne, you named it, or you named them, they came through Macon. And it used to be, in order to make it, you had to come through Macon. And it was because of the Douglas. You know, we was at Silver Screen and Black Vaudeville in the Roaring 20s up through the 1940s. And then it kept going and pressing forward from 1940 through 1971. After Mr. Douglas died, he died in 1940, right? But his wife, Fanny Opplin Douglas, took over the theater, and she ran it for 31 years. And so she made it become a mecca of Black entertainment. And it's just what it is. And yeah, on our website, we have a timeline where you could see kind of like, and it walks you through the Douglas Theater and that history of it. But now we have evolved into a multicultural space, still Black led, Black run. I answer to a board of directors who are all African American. And so it's the cultural aspect of the Douglas, but it is definitely a cultural touchstone and a cultural treasure for the community. And since I've been minted as the executive director, our goal is, yes, we're reawakening, remembering, and forward. And so it's been around for 105 years, right? We're celebrating our 105th year. And that is a long time for a brick and mortar, a African-American owned, led brick and mortar. I mean, please look them up and tell me, like, when you think about even this from a business standpoint, to be around for 105 years, and we're still standing strong, and listing artists, and we want to be that platform in that space of really inviting artists and things like that. And I tell people, the hardest thing right now for me, preserving history is one thing, but sharing it is another, right? So we can preserve, we can talk about preservation because that's what we are with that type of site as well, but sharing it is that's the mode that we're in now. We want to share the Douglas. We want to open our arms up, love on people as they come in here, because that's how people would then begin to feel some ownership of it, learn more about it, learn more about the space, its history, and the significance of it. That's what I want people to know, the significance. Had it not been for people like Mr. Douglas or the Douglas Theater, you may not have gotten your Ma Rainey's or your Otis Reddings and your James Brown. This was the space because there wasn't a lot of spaces or access for Black entertainers back then. I mean, if we think about it, it was limited, but this was the space that catapulted people. And the Douglases, I say the Douglas, that's why it's not called the Charles Henry Douglas Theater or the Fanny, it's the Douglases, because his wife was a mastermind behind this theater as well. But the Douglases, they just made it so that people could have a place, especially Black people, feel safe and thrive while doing it. So that's the niche of the Douglas. The history is there. There's no way that I could talk about 105 years worth of history in 30 seconds, right? So I tell people, visit our website, really do a dive into it, or they can call up to the theater, they can stop by the theater, things like that. But the significance of the Douglas and what it stands for, it's really meaningful. And I always have to use the Apollo as something that we are aligned with, because people know about the Apollo, but we're in essence the same thing. We're just in the South. So we are the Showtime. We've been around longer than the Apollo. I get the Apollo was founded, but it wasn't always called the Apollo. It was founded by Germans, and it closed down. Then the Black Dollar saved it. Then they renamed it. So the Apollo hasn't always been the Apollo, but people don't know that part of it. They just know the Apollo. And I love the Apollo as well, one of our sister companies, just like Morton. But we are one of those Black historic spaces, and we're still standing, and we're still alive with the same splendor, the same vibe, the same culture, and what Mr. Douglas or the Douglases envision this to be for the people. The Douglas Theater, I tell people, y'all better tap in because we're about to do something big and huge. We love our partnership with the Atlanta Black Theater Festival, and everything takes time. So I tell people, I'm only in my 3rd year, but by the 5th, you'll see it. So I said the same thing when I was over the United Way. I was like, I'm in my 1st year, but by the 5th year, you'll see it. And they saw it. And so everything takes time when you're going through a change and an iteration of things and what you want it to be. But I could talk about the Douglas all day long. I love this space. I feel like you ever like just stepped into somewhere and you know that this is my true purpose and my true calling. They say things come full circle, right? This is coming full circle for me because I remember when I first moved to Macon in 2012 and I approached the Douglas, the executive director then who my predecessor, who I am, Gina Ward, she said, because she didn't know me. And it came to be that me and Gina became so close and so tight. And my mama says, yeah, when those same people shut the doors in your face, look what happened, look what God do. So, mama just real about it. So, but it came full circle with this moment with me now serving as the executive director, being here of this phenomenal institution, and it's affectionately known as the Douglas. That's what we call it. And from I'm trying to create this super theater artsy type of thing from the up and down 75. I want to go all the way from Valdosta all the way up. I just want to keep going up because it's a space, and we don't have a lot of spaces for Black artists. We don't, not safe spaces, not spaces that are affordable or accessible,
Yeah, you said a mouthful there, and it's in the pit of my stomach that you have so many phenomenal shows at the Douglas. I mean, the calendar is packed. Any given week, you can go to the Douglas and see a show that's well produced, a well produced show, because you have begun vetting shows so people can go and see a well produced show. And music tributes, it's everything. But what I gotta ask our audiences, and this is what plagues me. If we have these institutions, why is it so that we don't support them?
Mm.
And I have been wrestling with this for a long time. I don't understand the intellectual, maybe it's this generation, I'm not sure, but the intellectual and the literary and the music and the art, and that art literacy is so important to our survival. And it has been for such a long time. I don't want to get on my soapbox because this is about the Douglas Theater, but over 105 years, and it's the best kept secret in the South. I know you're trying, you're gonna make it not a secret in the South anymore, but it's the best kept secret in the South, and there's so much going on there. And it's an hour from the Atlanta airport. It's about an hour, right? About an hour's drive from the Atlanta airport. No. What happened to I think Winston having a problem with connections, but it is just so important. And I as we come to a close, I do want to ask you, where can we look for shows? Like, how can we? What is your final takeaway, Juan? And where can people follow us and support the Douglas Theater?
And that's it. My final takeaway, I think, like you said it, you gave my final takeaway for me. And that's what we're trying to tap into as the Douglas, the support part, right? Because support is important. Not, supporting the theater, but when shows are successful here and you're supporting people, that makes the theater successful, right? And so one of the ways that we tell people to tap in with us, all of our social media handles are at the Douglas, at THE, and Douglas has 2 S's. Theater, THEATRE. So you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, anywhere, YouTube. It's all the same. So we try to make that simple. Now what we're getting back to, though, back in the day, we used to have to hang, and we use nails to hang flyers up. So we going back. I said, okay, we historic for a reason. We're going to get back to the basics. We're going to get back to the grassroots. And so now we're even going as far as like surrounding counties, putting out flyers and putting out things in front of people. So we just say, hey, be on the lookout in newspapers, on radio stations, the news. We're just trying to run things, you know. So it does take that though, Toni. And so, but to your question, the easiest way to keep up and find out is really tap in with us on social media if you're into social media. But then we have to realize everybody's not into social media. They may be on it, but they're not on it like that. So they miss a lot of things because, you know, it's all algorithms and all of that, right? So we have to have been thinking through what's the way and what are people always into? We know they're always into their cell phone because we're a reactionary society now. Our cell phone buzz, beep, or ding. And so we're even trying to create us a little app, as well as text messaging with people that tap in that are you know, getting their consent, because we don't want to be spam. We don't want to become a spam agent. But it's just like, what is it that you have to do now for the people? And we just really want people to engage with us. Come into the Douglas. Let's love on you. We're gonna love on you. We're gonna love on you. I promise you that. Yeah.
Well, Winston, do you have any closing parting words or questions?
Well, one thing, and this is always Shelton. I can just listen to Shelton talk forever. I just can. Shelton, what's upcoming? What are some things upcoming for the Douglas here in the near future?
Oh, wow. So, you know, April is Jazz Appreciation Month. So we will have on the 19th, we're celebrating, because it's our 105th year, we're bringing in Ken Ford, the King of Strings. So he'll be here in concert on Sunday, April the 19th at 5 p.m. Then we kick off our Jazz in the Courtyard series in May. It's the fourth Sunday of every month. We have Gregory Saxman Daniels from Houston, Texas flying in. We have Harold Thomas in Danger Zone. So it's Jazz in the Courtyard. It's a free event. We invite people to come out. But in June, we're going to blow it up because it's Black Music Month. It's Juneteenth, and it's Father's Day. So we're going to do, you know, they say Black boy joy. I say Black male joy. That's what I call it. It's Black man joy, Black male joy. So we're going to really blow that up with the Juneteenth piece. We're going to double down on our Jazz in the Courtyard. We're going to actually have two artists, Gregory Saxman Daniels being one, and the other one is to be announced. And then July, we close it out. And then again, you know, we have our patrons party in December. We have a whole slew of events. But coming up in the immediate, this April, we celebrating jazz. We going all out with Ken Ford. When I tell you he's ready to light the making the Douglas stage up, he's gonna bring it to life with them strings. Yeah, we coming to party. Jazz style though. So we're gonna do it in style. We're gonna do it with the bang. So yeah.
That's fantastic. So those of you who have been listening to us, if you're in Macon, please make sure you're there. But if you're in ATL, it's not that far. Just get on the highway and go down and check out the Douglas Theater. You know, it's just like, you know, it's just like regular traffic, just going somewhere with a purpose.
And it's right downtown Macon. There are great restaurants. You can make a day of it. The Harriet Tubman Museum is right across the street.
Yes.
So you can do a full day of arts and culture in Macon and support a Black-led organization.
I love it.
I just love everything Black. Thank you, Shelton, so much. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you, Mom, for raising such an incredible person. And the Atlanta Black Theater Festival would not be where it is. I always say this, without you. And so I thank you so much. I can't wait to see what's on the horizon for the Douglas Theater. I wanted to do this podcast because I want people to know about the Douglas. I mean, everybody talks about everything else, but other theater companies that are Black-led and owned, but the Douglas, we got to let the secret out because it's a beautiful facility, well-maintained, superbly organized, and under the leadership of the Dr. Shelton Land. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.